Before I begin this video, I would just like to say, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps with the channel and it helps me to get into the algorithm. So yeah, if you're like a cool person, bro, please do one of those things, or like at least all of them if you want to. I'm going to get into the meat of the video, but I do want to warn you, this video is kinda political. Not really, but kinda, I guess. I am a pretty political person, not gonna lie. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, the main focus of this video, as the title states, is diversity in game. Now, I know a lot of people are scared of hearing the word diversity and video games together. But wait, hold on. I will get to a good point. Just bear with me, please. Now, this is going to be addressing people who look like me, so, you know, my brothers and sisters. Have you ever played a game where you try to look like yourself, but you only get like 3 haircuts, bro? Now, I know what you're talking about. You ain't got a front. But there's a lot of people who don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So, you know, I do want to call myself a gamer, if you know what I mean. You know, I like my RGB lighting. I got a powerful PC with the RTX 3070. You know, I think I'm a gamer. You see what I did there? And no, I'm not actually gay, but I do stand with them. I do stand with gay people, bro. But you know, I do have experience with games, especially ever since I was a child, basically. I've played games like Mario 64, the Nintendo DS. I've played Sonic Rivals 2, and the PSP growing up. As I got older, I started getting into other games like Far Cry, Call of Duty, Battlefield, GTA, Elden Ring currently, as well as Pavlov VR and all these other games that I've been playing after I've gotten older. I don't even know why I'm repeating myself now. Now, one game that you will never catch me playing is NBA 2K. People who play that game are weirdly toxic, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I'm never playing that game.
You wanna talk shit now? Where is that bitch at, bitch?
Yeah, that's right. Read me that fucking score. Read me that fucking score. Read me that fucking.
I'm not even playing the game because of toxicity. It's more so I'm not playing the game because of the stereotype of the people who play the game, which are people who look like me, black. Now, of course, there's other factors as to why I don't play that game, but it does bring out a little bit of shame for the fact that I thought that I shouldn't play the game because I'm black and I don't want to be a stereotype of the people who play those games. But of course, as I got older, I developed other reasons why I don't want to play the game. And like when I was a kid, being black, playing NBA 2K was the reason why I didn't play the game. Now, that's a topic for another video, but I don't know when that video is going to come out, like probably in like 18 years or some shit. Now, I do want to bring attention to what some creators might consider diversity in games, which is literally just having a skin color slider. I see this argument a lot where people will say that, oh, black people were not really doing anything in this time period. It's not historically accurate, even though games itself is not historically accurate and is very much fictional. You know, it's like the cosplay community. They're like, oh, Naruto is not black. Goku isn't black. Deku isn't black. Luffy isn't black. Shinra isn't black. God damn, bro, what you mean? None of the characters I just mentioned are white either. Like, what the are you talking about, bro? Hello, editing Cheaty Boyo here. I wanted to go look for some evidence, but I couldn't find any because r/anime cosplay doesn't actually have posts with people of color, and if it does, then it's impossible to find. But I did try to look deeper into Google, and I found a archive post of someone who posted cosplay on r/Genshin Impact. The people in the comment section were actually really sweet, and they were also trying to make sure to overwhelm the people who are being racist in the comments. The racist people in the comment section definitely got ratioed because a lot of deleted posts and deleted accounts are on that archive. You can find it. But I do want to bring attention to a video called Veritas Joe. He made a video called Cosplaying While Black, an Open Problem in the Community. He goes over how black people are usually mistreated in the cosplay community, as he is a black cosplayer himself. One thing that really caught my attention in this video is how black people are mistreated in places like TikTok as well. One instance, he was showing a guy who was being racist, and he stitched over it to criticize him, and his criticism ended up being deleted or banned. I highly recommend that you watch this video, and I'll put the link in the description if you want to watch it now. And if you want to watch it later, I recommend that you go to the link, middle click it, and continue watching this video. And then once this video is finished, you can go ahead and watch that video. But when it comes to the cosplay community, I am glad that a lot of things have changed The fact that I can actually find some black cosplayers on places like TikTok or Twitter, and I can go to the comment sections and see that there aren't people saying that you can't do this because you're black. So that's a good thing to know. However, I do want to warn you, just because I'm saying this doesn't mean that that doesn't happen. It definitely does, and I feel like creators definitely get the brute force of it. I'm not a cosplayer myself, so I wouldn't necessarily know if that thing is still happening. But I do know that a lot of black creators still complain about it, which means it's still a problem. Just because I, a black guy, is saying that I don't see that anymore doesn't mean that is the end all be all. It just means me, an individual, is not seeing what other people are seeing. I know that there are people like conservatives that will look at black people who would disagree with other issues black people are having, and they will use that as evidence, as if one person's opinion is someone else's experience. Just because Brandon Tatum, a black grifter in the conservative space, says that the 1921 Tulsa massacre was a big lie, doesn't mean that every single black person is incorrect when they said that the Tulsa massacre was racist. After all, it started because a white person thought that a black person touched a white girl inappropriately, and when black people were armed and ready to go to the court to make sure that the judge doesn't do anything suspicious, white people thought that because they saw black people with guns, there was going to be a race war. The police did make sure that black people didn't use their Second Amendment rights, and there was also white bystanders who decided to arm themselves as well. Of course, that didn't stop racist people from escalating the situation. Before I leave off this bit, I would also like to let you know that Tulsa is a great example of why segregation doesn't work. The community was separated, however, there were white people trying to destroy the other side. And they did succeed. A lot of black people were displaced, their homes were burned down, and a lot of people lost their life, specifically black people trying to defend themselves. Alright, now back to the video. Now this might sound racy, okay? This might sound racy. I'm about to say the word white people. There we go. I said it. I'm so sorry. Why are there people in this world that want to bring black people down for no reason? Here we are, having fun. We're just showing appreciation for an art form that we like. Out of nowhere, here comes little Timmy from the little Timmy theory, whatever, for the grave replacement bullshit.
Hey there, boys and girls. I got many of drugs for you. Lots of drugs for you.
Here he is to bring us down after hours of cosplay and makeup and getting all these stuff ready. Is also very expensive, by the way. And I don't know, maybe little Timmy is just looking for specific people, because I don't see this comment anywhere else. He's here to tell people who look like me that this character isn't black. I should smack the shit at you, bro. And when you show just a little bit of pushback to what that comment says, it's just my freedom of speech, bro. It's literally just my freedom of speech. I swear, you libtards cannot handle the truth. Liberals always get so mad at everything. Why are you even on the internet if you can't handle the heat? You see, here's a lesson that I want some of you guys to learn. You can push back on someone's negativity with criticism, and those people who think that other people can't take criticism will take the criticism and say, why are you on the internet? You shouldn't be on the internet if you're going to be this fragile. I cannot tell you how this mentality has gotten into so many different types of medias, like the anime community and even gaming. I've joined this game on Pavlov where this guy called me the N-word.
I seen the hatred in his eyes the first time I walked into class. All he saw when he looked at me was a black nip.
Pavlov has this feature that allows you to see someone's profile picture next to their name tag. My profile picture just happens to be my YouTube profile picture, which is me in color, black. So we was playing this game mode called The Hidden. This guy said the N-word, and I was like, who said that? I turned around and shot one bullet at him. By the way, in this game mode, there's this gun called a tranquilizer. It literally barely does any type of damage to anyone. So I shot him with that. He proceeds to then kill me, which is, fair enough. I shot you. If you kill me, I guess fair enough. It's not like I killed you. You could have put one bullet into me and it would have done more damage because he didn't have a tranquilizer. But the next round after that, and the rounds after, and as well the next match afterwards, man just kept calling me a n***. I'm going to bleep that on in post. He then goes on to spew things like 1350, 1488, why black people suck, why black people da-da-da, bro. Like, it's so stupid. Now, instead of the person who isn't on his side helping me to like get this guy out the game through kicking, because servers in Pavlov, let's be honest, there's not enough of them, and if you leave the game and someone takes the spot that you just left, then you pretty much have to log off the game because it's not done with servers anyway. So rather than helping me kick this guy who is saying the N-word and ignoring all his teammates, as well as just continuing to team kill me and not getting kicked somehow, this one guy decides to speak up. But however, the guy who spoke up, who is against the person saying the N-word, got mad at me. He got mad at me saying things like, why are you so offended in this game? This is the internet, you shouldn't be offended. And I'm going to impersonate how he said it. Stop being a fucking pussy. What, you can't handle the heat? Just don't be on the internet. So here's a white kid who I'm pretty sure he was like age 16, because ain't no way your voice is that deep at the age of like 13, calling me the N-word. And another guy who I assume is also white by the way he sounds and by the way he won't say the N-word. Pavlov doesn't really have other black people on the game anyway. I've been playing this game for 4 years and it's a very tight-knit community. This dude looks at me and says that it's my fault. This other white guy is siding with the white guy who's calling me the N-word, ER, and getting mad at me because I got mad that he just continued saying it. By the way, each game is like more than 10 minutes. Like, I'm pretty sure each game is 20 minutes. And the next one, it just kept going, bro. I'm sorry. This dude just kept going. So he's been calling me the N-word for over more than 30 minutes. And they're getting mad at me because I'm offended by it. So at that time, I was pretty much 19. That was like last year Halloween. I've been playing games for all my life, and this is not the first time I experienced racism. I mean, one of the other prolific times was around when I was playing Counter-Strike, a game that's well known for being toxic and racist anyway. Any online game I've played, I've always experienced racism anyway. So it's pretty much been like that since I was a little jit. And it's funny enough because this is how I also learned how to code switch. I found out through gaming that if you articulate your words and speak in multiple paragraphs, rather than, you know, being casual about how you sound and getting your point across in like 2 to 3 words, to not experience vitriol, you code switch. So I don't actually speak like this. I just speak like this so that way I can get my points across and people can understand what I'm saying. And I don't even know what to consider my casual way of speaking, if it's called ebonics, because I do use words like, hey, yo, what's good? But I don't know, it's pretty confusing. But I learned through gaming that if I speak like this, I won't get called the N-word while I'm just trying to be a good team player. So if I decide to just go casual, then there's going to be people who will get mad at me for just speaking the way I want to speak. So when I get asked this question, so when I get asked this question, hey, are you black? It's over. It's over from there. Like, everyone knows what this question means. If you're black, you know what this question means. And I'm sure white people know what this question means because they asked the question. Yeah, once you're asked this question, you're gonna find out how deranged people are on the internet. I'm sure everyone who has been through this bullshit on the internet or in gaming in general know how this usually goes. And I'm sure that you've engaged with it at some point. So whenever my own teammates are saying these things to me, I just switch teams and then I proceed to f them. Like, you was talking all this shit, and now that I'm on the other team, you're losing. And not only are you losing, but I'm doing better than you after getting my score reset for switching teams. But also me switching teams is also fuel for them to be even more vitriol to me. Now, usually the other way you just go about it is by being silent and letting them continue saying their deranged shit until they eventually get tired of themselves even saying it. And I know even the things I'm saying isn't going to really reach anyone. I know for a fact that people will just take this, say that I'm a snowflake, and then they will go on with their day. The worst white people can be called on the internet is really just like a LARPer, a fuckstick, or a bitch. And God forbid you say the C word with the hard ER at the end, because the C word totally has the same history as the N word. Oh my God, do you know how white people were enslaved in the past? It has such a negative connotation. You shouldn't even call anyone a C word with the hard ER, man. Now, I do know it's wrong to say the C word with the hard ER. You know what I'm talking about. But I'm also gonna say that it doesn't have the same negative connotation as the N-word does, and it doesn't have a long history of that as well. You'd actually be very dishonest and disingenuous if you think that it does, and you'll also be a very fragile person if you think that it holds the same merit as the N-word. Now, I have experienced stupid things like people calling me the N-word, and then I say the C-word back to them, and then they get mad at me and very offended that I even said the word. Oftentimes with the people who say the N-word very easily and willingly usually get offended when the C-word is used at them. It's very fragile behavior, and it does happen a lot on the internet as well. There was a time where a lot of live streamers on Twitch, black creators, were getting called the N-word in their chats, and there was also raids and bots using the same word and using slurs to describe a black person in their chats, but Twitch did nothing about it. But when a white person uses the C word, not even a black person, they get banned for it. And I know a lot of Twitch employees aren't actually black. I'm pretty sure that's just a select few. And I know in other workspaces, black people are the minority, whether that be because the people who are the employers don't give black people an opportunity, and also because black people are an actual minority. I'm pretty sure we're like second to Native American, so we'll always be a minority, and that will never change. So how does this behavior actually affect video game customization for black people? Well, I will give some anecdotes, and then I will go ahead and give some actual experiences, and as well as just facts. In my experience, I would only choose characters that are usually like white or Asian looking, because I do like Japanese culture a lot. But up until like maybe 3 years ago, I started to really question why I was always choosing those characters, because there were actual better looking characters that looked like me in certain games that aren't actually popular. Roblox games actually had more customization than most games that come out in the AAA. There are games like Ring of Asylum that doesn't really have that much customization for people who look like me. However, it's an Asian game. I can kind of understand that, because in a lot of Asian countries, there are actually no white people and there's no black people. However, white people and Asian people tend to have straight hair, so it's not really much of an issue for white people, even if they're not included in games. But games like Tribe of Midgard, Assassin's Creed, Dark Souls, and even Elden Ring don't really have much customization for black people. It's almost as if they forgot about us. And in other games like Mass Effect, there's only a select few of hairstyles you can choose from for black people. So I do know that a lot of non-black people do get a lot more option for hairstyles and facial hairstyles as well. I can scroll endlessly and not see a haircut that I see on a daily in real life. So when I play games with customization, I usually see things like a fade from the 80s, a bald cut, or an afro, which are hairstyles that not many black people have today if you just go outside and see a black person. I can name off a list of all the haircuts I've seen in real life with friends and just people that I see on a daily in my community. I've seen dreads, I've seen two strands, I've seen variations of dreads, I've seen fades and different variations of fades. I've also seen cornrows, and I've seen afros and different variations of afros. I've seen a lot of hairstyles, and I'm pretty sure it's over at least 30 hairstyles. Every time I play games with customization, it's only a fade from the 80s that MC Hammer used to have, and a ball cut or an afro.
Alright, let's see. Alright, character customization. Wait, where's the other options at? Hold on. Damn! What does white man got all these hairstyles? I ain't never seen no white person got their hair before.
Those three. And it's like, did you forget that we exist? Black people have nappy hair, but there's also black people with curly hair. There's people with braids, there's people with dreads, there's people with fades, there's people with afros, and each of those haircuts that I mentioned have their own variation. It's not just a fade. A fade isn't always simple. You have other ways of doing a fade. It's not the same thing. Even if you put a fade on one person's head, if they choose a different fade, it's a different fade. You can have a temp fade or drop fade. Like, it's not that hard to implement into game. And then if we're really lucky enough, it's usually just black women hairstyles that are like maybe 4 instead of 3. When I compare black hairstyles in Elden Ring to a game, say Animal Crossing, Elden Ring is an embarrassment. Now the game is fun. I actually like the game. I love it. It's actually my first introduction into games like the Dark Souls trilogy. For years I've been putting off on these type of games because I get mad really easily when it comes to playing games, even games like Call of Duty. So this criticism isn't from hatred of the game, it's me just being really disappointed when it comes to customization. And I know there's people who say that, oh, it's not even historically accurate, it wouldn't make sense to have black people in this game. I just have to ask you this question because there's a lot of monsters in the game and other enemies that didn't exist in real life either. It wasn't historically accurate. Elden Ring is a game with talking pots, talking trees, witches, wizards, people who wield magic, and there's also people like centaurs in the game, I think. Or maybe I'm just looking at it wrong and it's a dude on a horse and I think it's a centaur because it's a game with like a lot of European stuff. But it's all fictional nonetheless. Saying that the game is not historically accurate to have black people doesn't make it okay. The game itself is not historically accurate, that's what I'm trying to say. I can understand if it's a World War II game which has a girl shooting a full auto Lee Enfield. Now the funny part of that statement is because the girl itself isn't historically inaccurate, is historically inaccurate because it's a full auto Lee Enfield. But my favorite YouTubers usually will say that because it has a skin color slider which allows you to choose different skin colors, therefore that's the end all be all. It doesn't really matter, there's already diversity in the game. But there are other well-known YouTubers that spread ideas like this that's negative and usually hammers it in even more and in a very disingenuous way. This YouTuber, It's a Gundam, is more so against it because of historical accuracy. He would think that I'm just being malicious and I'm also being a snowflake. For It's a Gundam, he gets mad at people for caring about certain things in the game. If he doesn't really care about customization in the game, he really shouldn't care about other people that care about customization in the game. For him, he can easily just say it doesn't matter because there's a lot of styles that he can choose from if he really wanted to. But from other people, we don't really get that option. It's not fair for us because we're just there choosing from 3 hairstyles and then we get pretty bored of our character and go on to choose a character that doesn't look like us. And to be honest, there's a lot of people like me who take customization very seriously, sometimes even hours just to get the correct character that we want. In GTA, I can spend up to 2 hours trying to get a character that I like looking at. The thing about GTA is that it has a lot of customization like dread variation, fade variations, and I think they even might have a lot of ball cuts variation. The new Pokemon game even has a few hairstyles that are very accurate to what we have today. Even in Animal Crossing, there's actual good customization for black men and women. It's decent, it's not a lot, but at the same time, it's actually pretty neutral to the other ones, which are not a lot as well. And oftentimes with games that have skin sliders, they don't really look good at all because you're just turning a white dude into a guy with black skin. It doesn't look right. But people like me who are being very reasonable about what we want to see in the game, we get called a snowflake, we get called soft, we get called sweet, we get called fragile. Sometimes even calling us liberals, libtards, or whatever people on the right usually tends to call people slightly to the left. And as a person on the left, they'll actually be really wrong if they think that I'm a liberal. Also, if people even just say things like we need more black people in video games, does it really hurt to just add like 1 or 2 extra black people in the game? Like, is it really that bad to just say that black people should be in media a little bit more? Because to me, I don't even see it as a bad thing as long as the characters are good, right? But oftentimes they can even be good characters who are black in a game or in a movie or in a TV show, and that's still an issue for some people, and it's called tokenism. Like, it can be a fair assessment seeing like 1 black person in a sea of 20 people who are not black and be like, hey, maybe this show should have had, I don't know, a little bit more representation, and people lose their minds. Like, I'm telling you, like, let me not even use black people as an example. Let me use LGBTQ people. And I know a lot of you can count from your heads. How many times have you seen 1 single gay person in a TV show in a sea of straight people and people get mad about it and lose their minds? Like, there can be a TV show or a game with 1 person in it and people will lose their minds saying stop forcing the gay agenda on my children. And I promise you, right now I'm being very reasonable. That is what I see happen on a daily basis. And you know what? Let me be even more reasonable. Let's say there's 2 gay characters in a sea of straight people, but those 2 characters are main characters of the show or game. People will lose their marbles. Now, there are people out there who are very reasonable that are like, yeah, you know, we would like to see some representation for people like me in the game, but it's not that serious. And then there's gonna be people coming out of nowhere that are like, oh, I don't even really care about customization. I don't know why you guys are caring so much. And honestly, you guys shouldn't even care that much. Just play the game. If you don't care, then why are you responding to what I'm saying? Like, if you do not care, why did you make a 20-minute video about it? And I know if it's a 20-minute video, I know for a fact you recorded it for an hour and then cut it down to 20 minutes. If you claim to not care, why do you care that other people care about having customization in a game for people who look black or brown? It's such a weird dynamic that happens on the internet, and it's often from people who are just being disingenuous. It ties back to cosplay, where people will say that this anime character isn't black, but yet there's a sea of white people cosplaying a Japanese character. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I do care about this type of thing, which is why I'm making a very long video. I mean, currently I'm sitting at a whole hour of me just talking, and I'm gonna have to cut it down to something. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of this video. I just wanted to talk about what was on my mind for a while. And honestly, I don't know how this went from black hairstyles in video games to just straight mistreatment of black people in the entire gaming industry and also on the internet. But I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video, or at least learned something from it. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, please don't leave a dislike. And if you really like this video, you might as well subscribe and click the bell so that we can get notified every time I upload. You know, I don't want this channel to just be one thing, which is gaming. I also want it to be commentary. I want it to be reaction. I want it to be a lot of things. And honestly, as long as it's not music, because I did music for one channel and people only came back to see my music and not the gaming I did on it. And if saying anything slightly political takes me to a different path, then so be it, I guess. But I just want my channel to be a lot of things that isn't just gaming at all, but it does have a lot of gaming aspects into it. I will see you guys later. Have a good one. See you in the next video. This has been Cheaty signing off to you boyos and girls and my non-binary folk.